Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy IX. Last time we escaped the evil forest, but not without some losses. Blank, one of the members of the Tantalus crew, was petrified inside the forest. Since we have no means to unpetrify him, we kind of have to just move on right now, but he did throw us a map that would get us out of the area. And that map is going to lead us through this new zone called the Ice Cavern. It's supposed to be a beautiful place covered in ice. Oh, and Vivi's grandfather told him about it. Must thank him upon escaping the mist, but Vivi's grandpa passed away. Everything about Vivi's existence is so goddamn sad. Oh, poor Vivi. We're actually gonna get some significant development about Vivi today. Oh hell yeah, this theme. It's a little bit dangerous, but mostly exciting and whimsical. It's just a little bit urgent, though. Mysterious. I love it. And you'll see these jets of air occasionally billowing out. Those are, I think they're supposed to be fixed encounters. Like they'll wax and wane, and if you run into them while they're shooting out these geysers, you'll get a definite random encounter. So we're mainly just gonna rely on Steiner and Vivi kind of one-shotting these guys. Zidane actually is just barely below that threshold to one-shot them right now. There's a couple things to notice about the battle theme and about the fanfare theme. They sound mostly pretty typical, and they are. But one of the things that sets... We're gonna wait for that to go away. Yeah. We don't want another fixed encounter. Oh, I think we just ran it. Did we get a random encounter, or did we run into Steam? One of the things that sets this apart from 7 and 8 and makes it so nostalgic is that there's this bass line in here that was in the first 6 games, but it disappeared from Final Fantasy VII and from FF8. It's also just my favorite arrangement of any of the battle themes in general. Oh, I love this one. Plus, again, we're going to listen to full fanfare. We're finally starting to get a couple of random encounters to make up for the lack of ones we got in the Evil Forest. Also, occasionally you'll come up against some of these solid ice walls that Vivi can melt. And usually they'll contain some treasure. But the thing that I wanted to point out about the fanfare is that there is a melody in the fanfare that, again, it existed in the first 6 games and then was absent in 7 and 8, and it's back here in 9. By the way, we are... By the way, we are going to do what we did for FF6 and FF8, which is to say, not show every single random battle. So I'm going to be editing those out. Oh, I can't get the thing to stay. You're supposed to melt that and it falls down for the other chest. But I don't think the other chest is actually super important, so... If the prompt is gonna be finicky, whatever. But yeah, we're gonna edit out most of the random battles. And we'll be showing the ones that are either plot relevant, or in some way, like, preordained. Plus anything that features a new enemy, something that we haven't seen before. But if I left every single random battle in, this LP would be like 200 goddamn parts. Or at least it feels that way. And it would be real tedious, and you don't want to just see the same fights over and over and over and over again. Especially in the early game where the variety in what you're doing to beat enemies is not all that high. It's not super interesting. The enemies basically behave the same ways, have very similar HP, and we don't have a lot of abilities to vary combat up yet. So we're mostly treating every encounter pretty much the same way. You know, on the topic of random encounters, I can't remember who the interview was with, but there was an interview with someone at Square. It may have been the director, Hiroyuki Ito. Oh, and the tutorial Mogster Part 2. Again, we're not going to need to look at any of this. An interview asked Square at the time, why doesn't FF9 use fixed encounters like Chrono Trigger or Chrono Cross did? And the reason, and I never actually considered why this was, comes down to memory used by the map. And how much harder it is on the memory budget for a 3D game, especially with the already huge scope of FF9, to litter the map with extra polygonal monsters. Extra models. And this was slightly problematic back then because of how high the encounter rate used to be. Apparently, as I've learned, they toned down the encounter rate quite heavily on the PC version, plus the load times are generally faster. So this is kind of a twofold godsend, because not only did the encounter rate used to be, or it felt like above average, because the load times to get into battle were so long, it really, really sucked. It was one of the only significant criticisms of FF9 at the time, was the battle load times. How long it took to get in and out of fights, and how often they were happening. So it was a problem that compounded on itself. Oh, I also found out that they were originally considering doing the Chrono Trigger style fixed encounters for FF10. We're gonna make sure Zidane is fully healed up for what's gonna go down in this room. Look at this cool dude! He looks a lot like Vivi, and he is in fact named a Black Waltz. Black Waltz #1. He's quite evil looking, though. Really, the only way you can tell is from the eyes. Oh, I love that guitar so much! It's so good. Also, for such an early game boss and the minion of the actual boss, this sea lion is so much cooler than it has any right to be. So again, the Black Waltz, we have some common motifs with Vivi, our Black Mage. There's the name, Black Waltz versus Black Mage. There's his completely obscured face, the yellow eyes, and the hat. Also, I love that cool-ass bell. And the wings. Really cool design. And this... We're gonna steal a little bit, but can't waste too much time stealing, because anytime you have one of these one-party boss fights, or one-party member fights, it's actually a little bit intense. These can get tricky. Oh, that's right! Yeah, I forgot, you can't actually attack the sea lion first, otherwise the Black Mage will heal him up. So we have to deal with the Black Waltz. By the way, Black Waltz number 1, we have to deal with him first. $16. Oh, I just realized what I did. Ah, this sucks. Damn it. I wasn't paying enough attention to my health, so I'm gonna waste part of my trance healing up now, because I really can't afford to take another wave of hits after this. Ah. Probably gonna get hit. Oh no, I thought I was gonna get hit with a wing too. That could have been dangerous. And unfortunately, that will consume half of the trance bar. Ah, that's just because I wasn't paying enough attention before. I can't get 2 trance attacks in. Tidal Flame is good here as well. Either way, I think this might actually deal with the Black Waltz. And that's our AoE fire hit that we didn't get to see in the Evil Forest. Yeah, there we go. This'll hurt though. Woo! Yeah. We're actually gonna use one of our high potions. God, he gets double attacks off too. For being so massive, the sea lion is really fast. His ATB charges quickly. In some turns, he can use Blizzard into Blizzara right away. We're gonna try to steal maybe once or twice, because I think he has a decent weapon. That's an ether. Oh, here comes the Blizzara Blizzard combo. By the way, if you're not familiar with the naming convention for spell... Yeah. For spells in FF9, there are different suffixes added on to denote how powerful a spell is. So the most basic spells will just be, you know, the name of the elemental attack, Blizzard, Fire, Thunder, even Cure for white mages. And then you'll add a suffix for the next tier of power for that spell. Blizzara, Fyra, Thundara, Cura. And then the most powerful will be like Curaga or Fyraga, Blizzaga. Also, sometimes there's a 4th tier that's Aja. It went okay though. I wish I could have stolen the weapon that I think he has. You defeated number 1, but number 2 and number 3 will reclaim the princess. Somebody from somewhere in this cavern just said that, indicating there are at least 2 more Black Waltzes, and that was Zorn and Thorn of Alexandria Castle. So we can infer that the Black Waltzes, plural now, are their doing, and they are here to recapture Princess Garnet. Reclaim her, rather. Wow, Steiner! Steiner, I forgot just how confrontational he is, especially early on. Makes for a good group dynamic we have going on. All the characters are so expressive and so different. And early on, you get a lot of this interpersonal conflict to flesh things out, to for all the characters to play off of one another. Oop. Oh, we actually do have a new one in this, so this will not be edited out. This is also a reasonable opportunity to show something off. Just keep getting these attacks in. A few of us are low, but especially Zidane, so let's group cast a Cure. Whereas before, like, you would need Cura or Curaga as an AoE heal. This goes back to the system from FF6, and again, a bunch of older Final Fantasies as well, where you can either single target or group cast a spell. And you just do this by hitting R1. And you'll trade power off for AoE. The heal isn't going to do as much on any one individual character, or if you're group casting an offensive spell, it's not going to do as much damage to any one enemy, but you can hit everyone. Quite like that. I sort of wish that was a thing in Octopath Traveler. I don't actually even wish I could group cast spells, because that would actually be, that would really mess with the balance of that game. What I wish actually is that I could ungroup cast certain spells on the fly, and there is an ability, but it's a kind of a special skill for one job class that lets you turn AoEs into powerful single targets, but that's not always an option. Plus, it's a buff. But the problem with Octopath is sometimes you can't just not AoE, even if that's what you're going for. Even if you're just going for a single target. Like, the cleric does not have a single target heal. It's a group heal or nothing. Either way, Octopath is so damn good. And we finally have confirmation for Garnet's name. She's now going to be known as Dagger. And the reason for taking that name, I guess in the English localization, is really stupid. I don't know if it's any better in Japanese. It's kind of a dumb name, but alrighty. Yeah, alrighty. This is where that comes in. We're trying to get her to speak like the commoners. And we're also going to head to a town called Dali. From here, which direction are we going? We're going up to this, I believe, northeastern corner. It's the Ice Cavern, the Evil Forest. Oh, no, that's Alexandria. Never mind. Oh, and we'll also stop over here to this kind of mountainous peak, which isn't a named location just yet, but it's adjacent to Dali. My coffee smells delicious. We get this card prompt with him that indicates that he is one of the NPCs in the overworld who will play Tetramaster, this game's card game, with us. But we do not want to play cards just yet. We want to get into Dali and progress the plot a little bit more. Oh, Dali looks so good! But there's no charming musical track when we enter. It's stark silent. which lends Dali a certain atmosphere right away. More so than VIII pointing out the windmill and this kind of nice bucolic art. It's the first thing you notice is we start off with no music, and it kicks in later. As soon as they enter the inn and the kids pop up. Now it's this relaxing strumming. But it's off-putting that it takes so long to kick in. Then we get this kind of spaced out innkeeper. We'll say once Dali's theme kicks in proper, you could definitely fall asleep to this. 100% fall asleep to it. Convenient 4-bedroom. I believe this is a callback to a room from an older Final Fantasy. Can't off the top of my head remember which one. This might be an FF1 reference. God, it has been way, way too long since I played the first Final Fantasy. Just letting all the tension drain out of my shoulders to this song. In doing my research for this LP, I learned so much about this soundtrack. So much I'm happy about. Like how Ito, the director, told Uematsu that it would be fine if he just made tracks for all the main characters, a couple of battle tracks, the boss themes, and like a handful of mood pieces for different story beats. It's probably like a 20-25 song original soundtrack. So said that would be fine. You know, come back with like 20 to 30 songs. So Uematsu went, yeah, okay. And he came back a full year later with nearly 200 tracks. 160 in total. 140 of those original 160 made it into the game. Who was that? Never heard a song like that before. Was that Dagger singing? Yeah, everybody got up, left already. We are going to hear a lot of that song. It's very, very important. Let's see what Vivi's up to at the same time. Snot-nosed Gudo. Oh, all of the Dali children are such shits. I hate them all. I want to push them all down the well. You will see. Oh, there it is. You will see that my hatred for the Dali children is justified. And heartbreakingly enough, they're all avoiding Vivi. Dear sweet Vivi. And Dagger trying to blend in. Wonder if the castle's okay. No time for that concern now. Yeah, Queen Braun really did kind of go out of her way to try to blow the ship up that her daughter was on. She's just a little bit outside the city in the in the farm. So what are you doing? Can't you see him I'm killing the bugs, eating the crops. Bugs are just like monsters. They destroy our crops if you let them be. That's ridiculous. She doesn't know what crops are. So she's gonna go from fascinated to acting like she hates these oglops, these bugs. Frog bugs. The innkeeper is once again fast asleep. So we're gonna go try to catch up with everyone. And there's another active time event. This one takes place in the inn that we just left. With the ugliest cat in the world. I want to give in to my brother. So we're going to learn a little bit about the innkeeper here. And how he's thinking about ratting out who just walked into the inn. Because he's competitive with his brother. Oh, and here we can buy a Mage Masher if we want. We can buy a lot of early game equipment that we can just steal. That we could have just stolen. But luckily we have no need to. Oh, a different perspective into the room. Cool. Although, that chest... That should be the chest that we opened in the room. Although there, it's closed. I wonder if that's just because of how they pre-rendered it. Like they didn't make two versions of the room, one with an open chest and one without. Oh, Dagger tries harder! This is the weapon shop that we were just in across from the inn. And she comes in, not to buy anything, just to make conversation. And to try to, again, learn how to blend in. And what did this kid just hear? We're not gonna get to find out. We have an idea, though. Everyone's been acting kind of strange. We got that scene with the innkeeper. And we don't want to be in here yet. So we're gonna talk to VIII staring down the retaining wall. Met a girl! Nah, VIII's spacing out about something like that. What did I just say? I don't feel like I just did words good. VIII is spacing out about something else. Tiny gentle aneurysm. And Zidane is just eternally thirsty. Just endless, boundless thirst. They hear something odd, though. Zidane tells VIII meet him back at the inn. And yeah, we hear that, too. Motherfucker, this kid! They took VIII! I'm gonna put those kids in individual sacks and slam the sacks against walls. Part 2 of the Ugly Cat Adventures. All I need to do now is keep quiet until the guests leave. Gotta pretend I'm asleep. These motherfuckers. This is why I point out the stark silence and the contrast between that and the really peaceful music that starts up, like, well after you have exited line of sight of the screen, and the kids come in. Because there is something off about this town, and there's a little bit of danger. There's something unsettling about it. Hey, and we find Dagger in the weapon shop, where she was just now in the active time event. Oh, and she's blushing. Let's encourage her. Yeah, she improvised quite well. Ah, there's that name drop, Lord Avon. Again, a reference to, where Shakespeare was born. Dagger's wonder if she should talk more like Ruby in her weird southern US fucking accent. Her Sandy the Squirrel Texan accent. Ugh. And her picking up alrighty is so good. Yeah, that could maybe take some work. I'm not doing these ultra polite bows to everyone. It's fine though. Alright, so we talked to Vivi. Vivi's gonna meet us back at the inn. Oh, but he's not, because these shit fuckboy children. Maybe he's fine. We know Dagger came back though. Steiner's doing whatever. Yeah, Vivi should be back soon. He'll be fine. If you blinked and you missed the kids being shit and taking him somewhere. Yeah, they bring up a really good question at this point, which is, where are all of the adults in Dali? The farm is too tiny for them to be all tending it. There is a problem here. Something is rotten in Deli. And now we kinda get, oh, well, speaking of Steiner, he is helping up, he's helping out up at this shop. For reasons that are not totally clear right now. Now that you have time, would you introduce me to some adults like your father? Okay, we learn a little bit more about the adults. Her father, for instance, won't be back until nightfall. So she's tending a pub? All by herself, but also there are no adults around. So the only customers who could come in would be the kids of the town. I command the Queen's Knights of Pluto, Adalbert Steiner. From the castle, I guess it's okay to tell you. Please go to the observatory on top of a mountain on the outskirts of the village. An old man named Morad lives there. He takes care of the cargo ship. I believe that's what we visited before. We just didn't go up to the top of the observatory, because there was no reason to yet. And meanwhile, Zidane has been telling some kind of roguish story. Yeah, Dagger is the right idea being concerned about Vivi. We know what Steiner is up to now. They don't, but dramatic irony there. Same with in the case of Vivi, though. So we're gonna go out and look for him. This is the last place that we saw him. And the town is not that big. Again, we hear this chocobo sound. And this muffled sniffling from somewhere. From a hole in the wall. They kidnapped him and stuffed him somewhere underground. Presumably in the basement of this building that we're next to. And this building is actually the windmill. We stepped in here for just a moment, but there's no reason to come in yet. Before we go anywhere else, we're going to come to this really obscured area and get the Aries coin. It's one of 13 Stellatio coins based on the zodiacs. And you can turn them in later on, and you get escalating rewards for each one that you turn in. And we're going to try to get all 13 of them, because the final thing that you get actually changes the ending of the game just a little bit. It's not in a gigantic way, but I really like what it does. So yeah, we'll probably go after all 13 Stellatio coins. It's a very odd number. 156 skill in that chest. I wonder why that is. I'm actually intensely curious about why that number. Because it's really specific feeling. Like, surely that's some kind of reference. We're eavesdropping on a conversation. We need more workers anyway. Let's put this in the box. Yeah, something's very off about this town, huh? Only in charge of production. And Garnet is noticing that there's a particular pattern on this barrel. So what is this about production? I've seen the exact pattern on some of the barrels in the castle. Yes, we have a connection with the Alexandria Castle. And a few kind of disturbing implications about why they have VIII down here. It's a really obscure potion chest. And in the next room, there is a Moogle in a barrel. So that is going to be where we call it for today. Thank you all for watching. We will finish investigating the mystery of Dali next time. Thank you all for watching. Take it easy. Have a good one.